Shane, we are live. It is February 12th, 2025. Another Manic and Chill. Welcome in to everybody that is tuning in for the first time. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe to the channel button. There is literally content going out every single day on DDFFB. We just dropped a Dynasty Theory show yesterday and a new best ball mock draft that myself, Ray, and Cody Smith did, walking through. I don't know if you watched that one, Shane, but we did a 3-round rookie mock based on a real life 7-round mock that all of us very much disagreed with the 7-round mock, meaning like there were, I think, 5 receivers that went in the top 45 picks inside the second round. So it was like Jalen Royals, Jaden Higgins, like the guys that Ray's like, oh, I would have never mocked these guys here. But we were forced to draft based on the information in front of us. Guys like Damian Martinez went in the 7th and Phil Maffa went in the 3rd. You know, Mason Taylor went in the 5th to the Giants. So like that's a guy we didn't even draft. So check it out if you haven't already. Like and subscribe. Shane, before we get started with tonight's show, and just to let everybody know, tonight's show is going to be very much, I would say, a analysis show. We're going to actually do a mock draft of a subscribers league. So we'll go through that here in a minute on what we're going to do. Not going to be so many questions tonight. So if you have questions, if you want to fire a super chat, you can do it. If not, the questions will probably last till next week. But Shane, before we get into the exercise, your Eagles won the Super Bowl. I know you were still on a high. Has it started to wear off a little bit, like to where you're starting to focus on the offseason, or is it still just every day you find yourself just maybe watching some highlights and stuff like that? That's what I do. So how you feeling?
So far today, this is the first day that I haven't rewatched the game on NFL Network. Okay. I've watched it twice in one day, once the other day. I watched a little bit of it after that, the game. So I've watched the Super Bowl now somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 times. And the only reason I didn't today is I got here late, had to eat dinner. But after this, after I talk to my kids, I'll go watch some of the game again. One thing I haven't had a chance to do is listen to the game called by Merrill Reese, who's a legend. And that's really what I wanted to do. I've heard some highlights, but I haven't had a chance to actually listen to the whole game. You know, look, you support your teams, right? All year. For years, you deal with heartache and heartbreak. So live it up. Because in 12 months, there's probably going to be a different Super Bowl champion. And it ain't going to be the Eagles, most likely, as much as I'd love it to be. But back-to-back is hard. So I'm living it up. Yeah, and A.J. Brown's already moved on. He's already moved on. But, you know, we're built different, clearly. He's in the NFL. I am not.
Yeah, well, congrats to your team. I know it's nice to get that monkey off your back, defeating the Mahomes three-peat, so you didn't have to hear about that all offseason. If you had here another whole offseason about how Jalen Hurts couldn't quite bring home the Super Bowl, about how the Eagles are going to lose their coordinator again and they're going to have to start over and all the pressures on them. So I'm happy for you. Part of me wanted to root for the Chiefs just because I like to root for chaos of just an empire that nobody can beat. You know what I mean? But in the end, I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you won the title or your team won the title. And the Eagles are definitely going to be the team to beat next year, I think, with how much of their defense at least is going to be back. I know they're missing a bunch of players that they're going to lose, but you know that there's going to be a couple guys they probably end up keeping, and they're going to probably be the favorites in my opinion, because the AFC next year is still going to be tough. It's going to be tough to get through, you know? So anyway, move on. We're going to do a rookie mock tonight. So I want to get Dynasty Daddy here pulled up before we get started. So we chose, for those that watched last week, we asked for user submissions from our Discord members, Shane. He said, submit us a team that had an array of rookie picks that we could go through and basically roster review / draft review your team. So I wanted to find a roster. We had one graciously submitted by Dynasty Scaredy or Scaredy94 on Sleeper. Shane, I want to give a shout out, though, to everybody that responded to our inquiry. I mean, how many did you get? How many DMs did you get with people sending? I mean, they took the time to send screenshots and stuff like that.
Honestly, so many, you know, and I feel bad. Obviously, we can't do them all unless we did a show every day for the next, I don't know, a couple shows a day for the next, I don't know, 4 weeks every day. It was a lot, man. So shout out to our Discord members. They're always engaged. And when we want or need something from them, man, they come through.
Yeah. I mean, there were probably close to 50 that I got. And there were a lot of them that I even messaged people back and I said, you know what, this is kind of what I'm looking for. To be fair, a bunch of people sent me leagues where they're like, dude, my team is absolutely great. And then I have 9 firsts and, you know, I've dominated the league and like, here's my draft. And that's not the one we're going to pick. We wanted to pick one that actually would be a challenge to walk through. So here's what we chose. So thank you everybody that submitted them, but we chose Scaredy's roster. And just to go down, you can go to the bottom of Dynasty Daddy. We do this on Dynasty roster reviews. Just looking at the setup, Shane, it's a 12-team start 10. As you see right here, positional settings. If you go to the bottom of your Dynasty Daddy, you can see that it is a quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, a tight end, 2 flexes, and a super flex with 18 bench spots. Scoring here, I mean, I'm not going to go through all the scoring. It's a 6 -2, 6 for passing touchdowns, -2 for interceptions. It's 1 point per reception. If you go down to some of the bonuses, I mean, you can see where there's a rushing first down bonus of 0.2. There's an extra point tight end premium, so an extra point for tight end receptions. There's a receiving first down for 0.2. And I think that's it, unless I'm missing something. I think that's pretty much the bonuses and stuff to cover.
Yeah, 0.2 PPC. Yeah, and then 0.2 rushing first downs, 0.2 receiving first downs. So yeah, it kind of evens out, or at least it makes it interesting. You could go a couple different ways with some of the picks, or at least some of the positions in a draft class like this.
So before we get into it, I'm going to draft for Scaredy's team, and then you're going to draft for all the others, and we'll continue to go back and forth. Briefly, we will look at the other teams in the league and kind of just have Shane draft based on what they need. We're not going to do any trades. We're not going to do any sort of like moving around the board or reviewing the other teams. It's going to be pretty much, hey, let's look at who has this pick. We'll look at their roster real quick and we'll kind of decide what this draft would actually look like if the team's just drafted based on what they needed. But Shane, it's a start 3 receiver here, start 10, but it's receiving and rushing first down bonuses and 0.2 point per carry. So, like, how excited are you to draft running backs in this format?
I'm half erect.
Half?
Well, at my age, you know what I mean? Like
you'll take anything, right?
Sometimes that's as good as it's going to get, and you just accept it and you just push through.
Yeah.
No, this format, you know, it does lend itself to the strengths of this draft class. It certainly does.
And for Dynasty Scaredy, I mean, just briefly looking at his roster, I mean, as you can see, Shane, he has Jaden Daniels and Josh Allen. And that's one of the reasons I picked this team, because it really can be a draft where he can take it in many different directions. But other than those 2 quarterbacks, I mean, the best running backs are Blake Corum and Jalen Warren. We do have JJ McCarthy, and it looks like we have a pretty good roster construction here, right? With a bunch of quarterbacks. We don't really have any excess receivers other than probably KJ Osborne. But we don't really have anything at running back besides Warren and Blake Corum, and I'm not even sure what that is. And then we have 3 probably usable receivers with Keon Coleman, Xavier Worthy, and Rome Odunze. Tight ends, Jatavian Sanders, and probably 2 guys I would cut with Bellinger and Jeremy Ruckert. So, like, this team, pretty bare bones, right? Like, it probably has 5.5 to 6 assets if you count Keon Coleman as a half asset you could sell.
Yeah,
maybe.
Sure. He's a half asset.
Okay, so let's call it 5.5 assets. But we have Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels. And if you told me I could start a team with those 2 and then a bunch of young receivers and picks, I can see where he built this roster in a specific way. Pick-wise, we're looking at 101, and then we have 106, 108, 112, and then 3 picks in the second, 202, 209, 212, and then 305, 306, 312, and then 2 fourths. So we're looking at a total of 12 picks out of 48. We're going to try to go all 4 rounds, and we will refer back to, this board periodically to look at the other teams. I would cut Jeremy Ruckert. I would cut Daniel Bellinger. I would cut KJ Osborne right there. That's 3 roster spots. I'm hesitant to cut any of the RBs or quarterbacks right now just because I don't need the roster space yet. But obviously those are there simply for the any RB on a 53 and the any quarterback on a 2 deep strategy. Jalen Polk. What would you trade Jalen Polk for, Shane? Anything? Any pick?
Can I get a fourth? Can I get 1/4?
Can you get some fab to pick up the leftovers on waivers? Would you rather have that, I assume?
I'd prefer fab. Can I get $5 in fab? And I don't even know what the budget is in this league.
Yeah. I mean, Evie Diz in the chat says the 412. I mean, I would take any pick for Polk. Osborne, Ruckert, and Bellinger would be gone. That's 4 roster spots I can free up. And I have 12 picks to make. So at that point, I'm just leaning into my roster construction. So let's get into it. We'll go back to the draft board. We do have the 101, Shane. So I think this is the perfect format where you're starting the draft with Ashton Genty. There's not really any debate. I already have my quarterback. So you can lock in Ashton Genty at the 101. And then Scaredy doesn't pick again for 6 picks. So you're going to be up with the next 4. So let's take a look at those teams. So lock in the 101 if you can.
No. I got this.
Yeah, you got it. You'll figure it out. And then the 102, we'll go back to the team that has the 102. It is ST Grow 1. So let's go back to his roster. So Genty's off the board. Here is the team with the 102, Shane. And this team also has the 109, the 204, and then thirds and fourths. So you're going to be drafting for this team quite a bit tonight. Yeah, Drake May, Bryce Young, Jared Goff. So it has 3 quarterbacks, right? And a 6 point per passing touchdown. That's good. Amon-Ra, Puka, CeeDee Lamb. I bet you kind of like this team a little bit.
I mean, the wide receivers are obviously great. The quarterback room is good enough, I think. And considering the class, this quarterback class, I'm not going to mess around with a quarterback here. My dude is going to go ahead and draft what seems to be the consensus RB2 at this time, Omarion Hampton.
Oh, okay.
Again, the format lends itself to it. He's got a ton of wide receivers. I think Hampton and Tet are probably close enough that the tiebreaker could be need. Now, it's not a giant gap between them, but I do understand if people would prefer to go Tet here. But I just think my dude needs a running back here, considering his room is Isaac Garendo, Audric Estime, Jaleel McLaughlin, and Sione Vake.
Yeah, with all those picks, this team is probably going to draft running back multiple times. So I don't hate starting there. At what point, given it's a 2 PPR, are you considering Tyler Warren? Because the next team up is KV. He hate me. So let's take a look at this team right here. Gold Dust Dynasty. We have Stroud, Nix, holy wide receiver Batman with every bad receiver possible. I mean, what are we carrying here? Holy shit. We're carrying 20 receivers, Shane? Something like that?
Yeah.
That's too many, don't you think?
Probably. I mean, you brought him
what's
up.
The cut line in a point per carry?
Let's see. We got to...
Is it anything below Josh Palmer or just goes?
John
Mechie, is it even higher than
Corley, Brendan Rice, Watson, DJ Chark, Tyquan Thornton, Charlie Jones, who is not a real person, Brandon Powell. I remember him. Yeah, they can all go. Jeez. Yeesh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cuts right off the bat right there.
And then how many roster cloggers in a point per carry format? I mean, Luke McCaffrey, Josh Palmer, Troy Franklin. What do you do with all those guys? They're probably too good to cut, but again, are these players?
Can we move them for thirds? Can we move them for fourths? Can we move them for future thirds? Because these are not players that I particularly are probably going to help you. And I'd prefer the flexibility of what the picks could be. Even this year.
What if you can't get picks in this format? Would you be moving those guys for I mean, he has Roshan Johnson, but those types of running backs too. Oh, yes. Tyler Algier, those kind of guys.
Yes. Give me all the running backs I can get for this roster. It's so weighted the wrong way, right? It's so weighted wide receiver in this when it should be weighted at running back.
I can survive with Drake London, T. Higgins, Jordan Addison, George Pickens, Ricky Pearsall, and then pick your flavor of Bateman, Tillman, Hollywood Brown. But after that. And I don't need 3 of those last 3. I can probably live with 1 or 2 of those guys. But I think the point is this roster would actually be much better if it had 10 more running backs instead of those 10 receivers. You know what I mean? It would look like it has a better chance because I mean, it already has Sam Laporta, CJ Stroud, Bo Nix. So we're actually good at the onesie positions. You know what I mean? Like we're good at the corners. So what are you going to do here at 103? Is this a running back pick if you're drafting for this team?
No. So I'm looking at his picks, right? Or their picks. I don't man or woman. They have the 203, which obviously the 203 running back is not going to be at the level of the running backs you could get here. But
what are you doing? We have no ability to get any other picks. We're going to pretend like there's no trading.
Yeah.
So you're kind of looking at 103 and 203 is what can I do with each of them?
That's right. And I'm looking at his team or their team, and I'm thinking, running back is obviously in need, but it's 2.0 tight end premium. I am okay with trying to get a positional advantage, a Twin Towers situation.
Yeah.
If I could figure out how to get Tyler Warren, that would be awesome. Let's go to Superflex. Tyler Warren is right there. Thank you. Ty Warren. 2.0 tight end premium. I mean, it's leaning really hard into the format. Someone noted he'll take Tet. He probably will, but he should go running back or tight end. And here, I'm just going with the tight end one of the class.
Yeah, and I'm just going to share something real quick. I'm going to show the 3-year average WAR. So I'm going to take out, well, I'm not going to take out quarterback, but just look at these. Look at the 3-year average WAR. Look at the blue line, and I'll remove the tight ends and the running backs. Look at that, Shane. Look at the running backs compared to the receivers.
Yeah.
Running backs in blue, receivers in yellow. If that doesn't speak to, I mean, look at the high end, right? Look at the elite guys. Who would you rather have? Justin Jefferson or Bijan Robinson? You know what I mean? In a point per carry, point per first down, like give me the running back.
Yep.
And then even in this range down here, right? Even in the range where you're in like the low end wide receiver 1s to the high end wide receiver 3s. Now this is 3-year average total WAR. So keep in mind when you're looking at a total WAR graph, running backs down here aren't always starting week to week, right? Because they're in the backup range, right? So their WAR is going to be a little bit lower. But if you just look in this range, man, if you get RB 12 compared to wide receiver 12, it blows it away. You know what I mean? It's like 30% more production. So that kind of speaks to the point per carry aspect of this league specifically. Hence, I'm not drafting Tet McMillan ahead of running backs that get first-round draft capital. I know the team looks like they like receivers, but, man, the format, I think it's kind of a sucker pick to take Tet McMillan. Anyway, 104, you are picking for the team, this one, Batista Bomb, Chinooks. Here's what we're working with, Shane. We have the 104 and the 105, so you get to go back-to-back here.
Oh, and I do not need...
This team just got sniped at tight end. They're looking at Cole Kmet as their only tight end.
But so this team has the 104, 105. Their running back room is, well, let's go to their wide receiver room because I'm sure people want to talk about it. It's got G-Dub,
Garrett Wilson, Rashee Rice, Devontae Smith, Jalen McMillan.
Fine. Devon Chain, and then a bunch of bodies at running back. Just bodies. It's literally bodies. So...
And these are their only 2 picks of the draft. They do not have any late thirds, seconds, fourth. And this is it. These 2 picks, and we're done till 2026. So you have 2 things that you can do to get the roster kind of squared away, and you can't trade. So I'm very curious what your strategy is because they don't need quarterback, Shane. They have Jordan Love and Justin Herbert. Like you're not, and Justin Fields as a third. Like you're not probably drafting a QB. So what are you doing? 2 picks in a row.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So at least one of these is going to be easy. Travion Henderson, who some pundits, I don't know what you call draft people, have him as the running back too of the class. I'm not giving them Tet. Again, Kelly Horrigan. This is not a wide. Scott literally just showed the war of why we want running back over wide receiver. Unless Tet is, I don't know, a top 8 wide receiver, I don't know that you can take him over the running backs in this class right now.
If you just put Tet right here at wide receiver 8 and then the RB 8, I mean, right there, just player for player. I mean, really? Receivers are just as good as what the market thinks their value is. Now, there's some people in the league in this chat that are all saying Ted McMillan, right? So if that's the receiver market, then consider that before you make the pick. But now, I just wanted to highlight that.
Are these actually people in this league?
There's a couple of them, yes, because I actually joined as a co-manager in this league and announced that we're going to be live streaming it. So I think there are a few in the league that are actually in the chat.
Okay, so that's this, and this is where we're going to use some of what the market dictates, right? This is their last pick. I guess I'm just gonna go with the whims of the crowd. We'll go with Ted McMillan, wide receiver 1 over the running back 4. Not to spoil anything, but it would have been a running back there. Not to spoil anything.
Would you have considered Love? Someone asked, would you have considered Loveland if he went in the first round?
If Loveland goes in the first round, yes. Yes.
I think he's going
to. If he goes to Denver, yes.
You would take him over Ted?
Yeah. San Diego, I think was no, not San Diego. Excuse me. Jesus, showing my age. The Chargers and Denver. I think that's the 2 premier landing spots for tight ends, right? That's the first, if they get the first round capital and those landing spots, yes.
Okay. Well, I'm back up for Scaredy. He's got the 106 and the 108, so I'll be picking twice in the next 3 picks. So if we go back to the board, obviously Loveland is still there, which, the team certainly could take a tight end, right?
Yeah.
So there's some risk there. I'm inclined to take Loveland, but I'm also, if you're looking at who has the 107, because I have the 108, I'm clearly invested in who has the 107 and what they could potentially do. So here's the team at the 107. They have David Njoku and Luke Musgrave, Dawson Knox, and Kylan Granson. So, if I'm trying to figure out what this team is going to do, who do I take at 106 versus who will fall to me at the 108? I mean, A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, Saquon, Chase Brown, Alvin Kamara, Tony Pollard, Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy. So, I mean, they don't really have a obvious
it's a pretty solid team.
Yeah, it's a pretty balanced team that could basically take anything and be fine with it. So let's get back to here. Go back to Scaredy's team. So this team is probably, I've already got Ashton Genty. This team is probably at least a year away, yet with Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels, I hate to say that I'm a year away because you never know when I just set my lineup and it's got a few rookies in there and I go, oh, wow, my team's actually contending. And then if you look, we got an extra second, 2 extra thirds next year, an extra fourth. So, I mean, we have some ammo that we could use in the season to buy some fillers if we wanted. So I think with the first pick, I'm going to gamble that you're not going to take Colston Loveland because the team has a David Njoku. If you do, you do. That's okay. But I'm kind of torn here because I'm gambling on one of these guys getting draft capital, but I'm also fine with, basically taking both of them if I need to. So I'm going to go and I'm going to use our latest mock that we did from the best ball mock, and it had Quinshon Judkins going in the first. Do I think he's going to? Who knows? But I think there's a lot of ADV there. So I'm going to go Judkins. I could have taken Caleb Johnson, all the same, but I'm going to go Judkins because I'm fine with whoever goes at 107 for you. So there you go. I'm leaving you a choice here with New World Order. There's the roster. Saquon, Chase Brown, Kamara, Pollard, A.J. Brown, Tyreek, Shakir, Godwin, Sutton, Amari Cooper, Keenan Allen, Hurts, Purdy, and Njoku. This is a pretty good team.
This is literally this person doesn't have a significant need, so you can't just lean on that. Look, I'm going to go because, I'll put this out there. If I was in this league and I was if I was at 109, 110 and Caleb was still on the board, I'd be doing everything in my God-given powers to move up to get him. So this team's going to add to his strength. It already has a lot of strengths. It could use a wide receiver, but I don't. It's a little early in this format for them to use a wide receiver with Caleb still on the board. So, yeah, we're going Caleb.
I thought you were going to leave me the running back. Did you notice how I tried to bait you into taking Colston Loveland? I mean,
Yes.
because when you put the tight end war back in here, like it matters relative, like getting a good tight end up here matters relative to the team that's just streaming from down here. But like this tells me that unless I'm flexing, because let's just look at the tight ends after tight end 10, right?
7.
I'm flexing hopefully like 2 tight ends in this range. Like if you draft Tyler Warren on the team where you already have Sam Laporta, you're hopefully flexing a guy up in this range, which is an adequate flex against these players in here, right? But like, I don't really want to draft the tight end and then end up having them be kind of a middling asset that produces like a Hunter Henry or a Dalton Schultz. You know what I mean? Like that, that's not a very viable flex here relative to what some of these other teams are starting up here. So I was trying to bait you into leaving me.
No, and both
and
I appreciate
Caleb Johnson and Judkins to smash.
I think we are at the spot of the draft where there is a tier break at running backs. There is a next group of running backs, and obviously draft capital can change that. But right now, I think we've hit everyone out of the elite Ashton Genty to could be very, very good tier in Caleb Johnson.
Yeah.
So I want to. Funny thing is that if I'm that guy, that's what I'm thinking. Let me get him here. You know, obviously, I don't even know what other picks he has. I should have looked at them, but just considering, I think the tight ends, they're still strong. There's still several more that are kind of, I don't want to say an elite tier, but it's different. I feel there's a bigger drop to the next running back range.
Well, there is. And this is where we have to start challenging ourselves, because this is the team that picks at the 109. It's the team you already picked Amari and Hampton for.
Oh, who?
And no, you're not up yet, but this is the team that's up next at 109. And literally we're seeing the quarterbacks just continue to fall, because obviously my team doesn't need quarterback, right? Like I have Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, and Josh Allen. So like anybody that's seeing a pick after mine, they're just going to go, yeah, I dare you to take a quarterback, because you know I don't want to. And, you know, depending on what the quarterback market is, I mean, here's the quarterback war. Yeah, if you hit on one of these guys, sure. Let me ask your opinion on this, Shane. Would you have the balls to draft a quarterback here and just not let Cam Ward go and then bank that I can move either Josh Allen or Jaden Daniels? Or are you just building this team around Allen and Daniels and not thinking twice? Because, I mean, look at this war when you get this up here. Dude, if you have 2 guys that finish in the top 3 like Allen and Daniels could, you can win this league with like 8 starters. You know what I mean? Like you can just not even have a good starter and make up the gap with those 2. So what are you doing if you have this quarterback strength and literally Cam Ward is falling into your lap at the 112?
So this is, you get into this like, well, do I just go off of value, right? And I'm looking at this team. I don't know that this team is in a mode, because they also have JJ McCarthy, right? And then 37
Correct.
others.
They already have a guy they're going to have to trade.
Right. Like we've already got one guy that we're hoping to trade for a position player later. Do I really want to add another one to that, right? Or, you know, do I think about it in terms of what is the delta between, let's say, a Cam Ward, who I'll just say is the QB1 of the class, just for argument's sake. What's the delta between what Cam Ward could be worth in a trade versus Colston Loveland? But I'm also in a position where I'm literally drafting this player, hoping that I can trade them. Like that's where I'm at. Now, I could also galaxy brain it and go, well, now that I have Jaden Daniels, JJ McCarthy, Cam Ward, what can I do with Josh Allen? Because I'm still kind of thin, right? Even after this draft, I'm not a super team. What's the market look like for him? I mean, it's really an interesting spot right here. It really is.
So I will just say this, because this is kind of a draft review for Dynasty Scaredy, right? The 108 pick is one that I would be willing to trade today for Ken Walker, Jonathan Taylor. You know what I mean? Just a hammer touch running back that I don't care about anything but a 1 to 2 year window where I know I'm getting 300 touches in a point per carry, point for first down. Like that is probably going to outpace, because what are we looking at right now? We're looking at 5 RBs deep already. That's assuming that people know the format, but if they do, like, you're probably not getting one of the top 3 or 4 running backs at the 108. So I'd probably rather trade this pick before it gets on the clock.
But you don't have that choice. So you got to make a pick.
I know. And I'm just going to take Cam Ward because I do think that I can probably preserve some of the value with the pick and move it for one of those running backs, even if it's a tier lower, even if it's an older guy like a Jacobs or somebody like that. I can probably find another hammer running back, or I can probably find another asset that I like. So I'm just going to take that and live to see another day. 109, we have ST Grow. You already picked for him on the clock. You drafted Amari and Hampton at 102. So you're back on the clock at 109. What are you doing?
First of all, I have to find his team. There we go. Think Grow. Now, I've already taken Amari and Hampton from him. He could use another running back, but you know what else he could use? A tight end. Yeah, I'm just going to give him the tight end.
Is that what you're doing?
I think I'm going to wait. Let me go back. Let me look at his wide receivers quarterback room. Drake May, Bryce Young, Jared Goff. So here's the thing about that quarterback room, right? As opposed to the one you just drafted a quarterback to. These aren't attractive quarterbacks to move, Bryce Young or Jared Goff. Like if I draft Shador, I'm literally drafting him for no reason other than to trade him because
he's not an attractive quarterback to move.
That's the problem. It is. And I hate letting a quarterback fall this far, but
if it was Cam Ward, would you have taken that thinking that might be able to move him easier?
Yeah. And honestly, Cam Ward, I'd be more comfortable sticking him into the lineup, to be honest with you. So we're going to go Loveland. Again, the format, I think I just talked through it, kind of explained it. It's crazy that we are here where the quarterback, I don't know, 2 of the class, unless you listen to the people that are telling you that it's Jackson Dart, is still on the board at, what are we at, 110? Yeah, so.
Yep. Well, here's you at 110. You have not picked for this team yet. This is OJ21. We have Mahomes, Tua, running backs again, kind of there. Tracy and Dowdle and Eckler and Gibson. J-Mo, Jerry Jeudy, Josh Downs, Xavier Legette, Rashid Shaheed, Demario Douglas. So we're kind of streaming receiver here, and then Dalton Kincaid and Jonnu Smith. So
all right. We've got 3 picks. This is my thought process. I've got 3 picks in the second round, and then I've got another 4 in the third round. I can hammer running back then, right? I'm not comfortable with Tua as my second quarterback. I'm just not. I'm just for multiple reasons. I don't want to get, unfortunately, the injuries are just frightening. So we're just going to take Shador here. This is the guy where he could legitimately go, you know what? Tua could be out at any moment. And then I'm looking at starting Sam Howell.
Yep.
And Sam Howell doesn't start in the NFL. So that I can't do that. I just can't do that. So even though there's other needs, I think we can fill them later in the draft with all the second and third round picks we have.
All right. So 111, we are moving on to another pick for Shane, and Shane's going to be picking for this team, the People's Champ. Bert Jameson is on the clock. Kyler Murray, Anthony Richardson, and then JSN, Jaden Reed, Michael Pittman, Tank Dell. I mean, receivers are kind of wolf. Trey McBride, Isaiah Likely, Dalton Schultz, Charbonnet, Pacheco, J.K. Dobbins. A lot of teams with just any running back, right? Like a ton of teams here with just a bunch of just guys at running back. What are you doing for this roster? This team only has the 206 and 406.
Yeah. Guess what? The quarterback panic is set in.
Oh no! Don't say you're going to do it.
Why not? We have what were our quarterbacks? Anthony Richardson is our quarterback too, bro.
Yep, we got Anthony Richardson and Kyler Murray. Your favorite disappointment from last year. Dynasty Scaredy is loving this board as he has all these later picks and he's seen the QBs come off the board at least.
It makes sense here. I don't want to say unfortunately, but these are the players that make sense for these teams. And this guy needs a quarterback, man. It's 111. It's Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart. Look, man, there's some scouts that absolutely love him, right? Todd McShay did a breakdown on him. I believe it was this morning. I listened to it in the shower, weirdo, and or yesterday, whatever. Seemed to like him. A lot of people like him. Good chance he gets first round draft capital. At worst, he's going to get early second round. This team needs a quarterback. You got to do it.
All right. So I'm back up at the 112. I've drafted Genty, Judkins, and Cam Ward.
That's beautiful, by the way. Good for you, Scaredy.
Yeah, a bunch of places I could go here. I'm tempted to just bet on another running back because the format really does favor it, but I also think that the next running back I would probably take is going to be a little bit of a reach. I'm looking at Devin Neal or Ollie Gordon, you know what I mean? And their draft capital is going to be very, very dependent on what round they go and the landing spot. So I'm not going to reach there just because I have so many later picks in the second and third. So here, I think I'm just going to go based on what I think the league will value the most. I do think with his receiver room, only having 3 receivers, as you can see, I mean, all we had was Keon Coleman, Xavier Worthy, and Roma Dunze. So, like, eventually I'm going to need another receiver, 2 or 3, just to slide in, and hopefully they're just – if I can get at least another Keon Coleman or better with this pick, like, I'm going to need that to at least play down the road. I don't think there's any quarterback value. I don't think there's any tight end value, and there's going to be plenty of running back value to come later. So lock me in Luther Burden at 112, Shane. Luther Burden.
Wide receiver 3 of the class. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So the first round is over. We'll have to rapid fire through these. We can go a little bit past 9, but I don't want to turn this into a 3.5 hour stream. But 201, we have Bobby back on the clock. And Bobby also picked at the 107. So that was the pick that you took, Caleb Johnson. So this is that team that doesn't really have a glaring need. So what are you doing?
It's the format. It's what he did at the Senior Bowl. It's everybody telling you that he is going to be.
You're killing me, Shane.
He's going
to killing me. I was hoping he would fall to my next pick.
Going to be a first round pick in the NFL draft. You can pretty much bank on that or not. I don't know. But dude had an amazing Senior Bowl.
Oh my God. You're not doing what I thought.
Oh, no, I'm going Elijah Aurora.
Oh my God. I'm just clapping here.
Oh,
that's not what Dynasty Scaredy wanted. So I'm glad. Oh, thank you,
okay.
Shane.
Look, this guy, I'm playing into the format. This dude is an absolute monster. He's a physical freak. When he goes out there and runs, I don't even know what he's going to run. It's going to be really
Ray
fast.
thinks he's going to run mid 4.4s, and he does think he has a chance to go in the first round. So if you believe that, then
50 pounds, 6'5" and 250 pounds. Is that what my man was?
I think he's 6'4", but yeah, I mean,
he's a monster of a human being. He's going to be blazing down the field. He is a deep threat. So that's where I'm going here.
Well, back to me. And I'm giddy because I am now torn because I thought you were going to take Emeka Egbuka or Ollie Gordon. So I'm like, man, I'm going to get one of those guys and be fine with it. Now I have to pick between the two. I like Ollie Gordon in this format. If he goes to a spot where he's going to get immediate opportunity, he is a better pick than Emeka Egbuka, in my opinion. Okay. In my opinion. But, Scaredy, look at all these picks you have. 209, 212. Right? You have all these third round picks as well. You have a couple fourths. Like, you're going to be able to take shots on running back after running back after running back. I mean, we're going to be able to add 8 more running backs in this draft. Plus, we still have the Cam Ward and JJ McCarthy asset to move if we want. So with Judkins and with Genty, I don't have to force Ollie Gordon. I'm going to lock Emeka Egbuka. I think that locks in me getting at least one receiver in this draft, Shane, I'm going to get that's probably at least a wide receiver 2, right? Between Burden and Egbuka, I think that's a good bet. So give me Egbuka. I don't pick again for a while, so I'll have to wait. And hopefully a bunch of running backs don't go, but I'm very pleased with my draft thus far, getting Ward, Genty, Judkins, Burden, and Egbuka. It feels real good to get those 5, adding to Allen and Daniels.
It helps when you have 38 picks in the draft, right? Absolutely.
Yep. All right, 203. We're back to KV. He hate me. We'll try to speed these up a little bit. You already made a pick for this team, Shane, at the 103. And You already drafted them. Tyler Warren. So what are you feeling here at 10 or 203 for this roster?
I mean,
needs running back. Our best running back is Tank Bigsby.
I mean, that's not good. I mean, that is not great.
That's not good.
That is probably not the ideal situation. So we probably do need to go running back. But like, are we really going to go Ollie Gordon?
Dude, in a point per carry, point per first down, if Ollie Gordon lands in a spot where he gets opportunity, I like that profile better, even if you like Scadaboo better or Devin Neal better. Like, I'm taking Ollie.
A running back. Yep.
Because I don't think the draft capital right now is something that any of us know. And I don't really think it matters. It doesn't matter if one of them goes in pick 50 and one of them goes pick 90. It depends on where they land, right?
Exactly.
So you locking it in?
Yep. We took him. We took Ollie Gordon.
Ollie Gordon. Back to ST Grow with the 204. You've already picked for this team quite a bit, 102 and 109. So you were back up. You need running back.
Yeah, we do need running back. And again, we're just guessing what running back we think is going to have the best situation capital. I am going to bet on Dylan Sampson.
Okay. The latest mock we had Dylan Sampson going to Dallas in the 3rd. And I believe Cody took him. I know Cody's in the chat, but Cody took him pretty high. I think the 201, maybe something like that.
Man, I love this class.
And it was like RB 5 or 6 just because he went to Dallas, right? Like he went to a spot where he's going to get opportunity. Like I can't blame you if you think that's what'll happen.
Nope. I love this class, man. I just love it. But next, who's up?
Next up, we have 205. We got OJ is on the clock. You've already picked for him.
Oh, this is the gentleman, right? What did I say when I picked for him? That he has 136 picks later in the draft where he could go, I believe I said tight end or running back.
He got Shedeur Sanders at 110. So you left it open to take a bunch of shots here.
What do we want to do here? We want to get him a running back, right? Again, we're just kind of guessing on who's going to be where. I think this is probably, look, again, I'm guessing on capital. I'm just betting on draft capital landing spot. It helps if I actually set the team, kind of set the player. Did not know that his actual full name is Cam. So it's Cam Scadaboo.
Okay, we have a question in the chat real quick, Shane. Since you're going to be making a bunch of these picks, how far do you let Travis Hunter fall?
Here's the problem, right? So the format already dictates that wide receiver isn't as valued as running back is the first problem. Second, we don't know how much wide receiver he's going to play. Like that's been the issue consistently. I think we've talked about it in every mock. If he is a wide receiver, he is at worst a wide receiver 2 of this class. But we don't know that. We don't know how much he's going to play. If he's out there playing 15 snaps a game at wide receiver, there's really need to be high impact ones. Right? He needs targets on about, I don't know, 2/3 of those, 1/3 of those, 2/3 of those to make a make a dent. So quite honestly, he's going to probably keep falling for me until I get to
and
a
Shane's
point
making most of the picks, so he may fall to the 4th at this rate.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I can't let him go too much further, to be honest with you, because you start looking at the names and you go, I don't know about this guy. I don't know about that guy. So,
well, you got Burt Jamison up at the 206. You've already picked for this team as well. You picked at the 111 for this roster, and I believe that's who you took Jackson Dart for. So you are up again. And we again need running back.
But also look at his wide receiver room. Jackson Smith and Jigba is the only wide receiver of note. Do we really go? Do I have the balls if I'm this guy to go Travis Hunter here? Considering,
I mean, 30 seconds ago, you just talked about Hunter falling drastically, and then you get to the next team, and you go.
And then I look at his team,
Travis
right?
Hunter.
But then I look at the board, right? So who's left? You know, Devin Neal could be good. We're up to Harold Fannin, Mason Taylor. Man, this is tough. I'm taking a lot of time here. It's a good thing this isn't 60
I think
seconds.
I think if you're going to justify taking a shot on the gamble is already there with Travis Hunter. You're not going to get the clarity on what he's exactly going to be by the time you do your rookie draft, right? At least we're betting on that.
No, but
this would be the receiver room to take the shot on, right?
Yeah.
Just if he's right,
upside.
then I'm with you.
You're shooting the upside here. You were definitely shooting the upside. Now, obviously, there's some other wide receivers you could have gone that are probably a little safer, but not a lot of wide receivers that could have the upside that he does. So, yeah, we're going to go Trav Hunter here, even though some people might think he fell too far. I am going to assume most people think he fell too far, even considering the format. So, who's up now, my friend?
You're back with OJ. You've picked him Shedeur Sanders. You've picked him Cam Scattaboo, and you have 2 picks with him at the 207 and the 208, just to remind everybody of his roster. Again, Shedeur and Scattaboo. So you've added a third QB. Receivers probably could have taken Travis Hunter here with this receiver room. It's very similar to the previous one. And then there's the running back room. So you got 2 back-to-back picks here. What are you doing?
One of these is going to be a tight end. It's just which tight end is it going to be?
Ooh, okay.
I mean, just based off what we saw at the Senior Bowl, based off what we've heard, this is a Senior Bowl heavy leaning draft. I will say that a lot of bias by Scaredy's League. Apparently, they were all down in the stands with us. Maybe we didn't notice.
Well, you know what? I would love if you took 2 tight ends here. I'd be fine with that.
Not going to do that. It's just going to be the one. Okay. Now it's just trying to figure out, is it going to be Taylor or Fannin Jr.? If it's Taylor, man, I haven't seen any of mocks where Fannin has really been moving up the draft.
I think their draft capital is probably 50-50 on who goes higher. So if you want to take Taylor because you trust that type of tight end more, then I'm fine with it.
Based off of what I saw at the Senior Bowl, Taylor is the better player. If you pull away everything else that they've done throughout their career. So it's Mason Taylor. Now he's up again. We're looking at running back at this point. And yes, this is kind of need, but no, let me see his wide receiver room again.
This is the team that could have gone.
Judy.
This could have gone Travis Hunter because we're basically looking at the same type of receiver room where we have maybe one guy that could be top 24, maybe.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to assume that, you know what, a bunch of running backs have gone in the 4th round. I can't move off of a wide receiver that has been mocked a lot in the 1st round. And we're going to go.
Take him. Thank you. Thank you. Scaredy gets to make the next pick, and he did not want a receiver. So you can just lock in the falling knife of Devin Neal. You can lock him in for Scaredy at 209. That's just Devin Neal at 209. Just playing into the format. I mean, we've already got to add Ashton Genty, and we've got to add Quinshon Judkins. And I know there's going to be some other running back shots that I can take, but getting Devin Neal there, who we discussed when we were going Ollie Gordon, Cam Scattaboo, Dylan Sampson, the fact that he fell to almost the end of the round is perfect. So, all right, 210. We have Bobby Rick X. You've already drafted for him as well. You took at 107, you took Caleb Johnson.
Okay.
And then you also drafted at the 201. You got, was it Elijah Arroyo? Yep, Elijah Arroyo. So you got Caleb Johnson and Elijah Arroyo in the bag. The only other picks you have is the 410. So this is pretty much it for you on this team.
Man, so now again, let's see what running backs are left on the board. Let's see. Do we want to go RJ Harvey here? Is it a little early for that? Are there wide receivers that are still looking like they could go early? And maybe we just go there. All right. I'm sorry. This is just a guy I absolutely love and I think is going to be an absolute stud in the NFL. And that's I'm going to go ahead and color this with my own biases. Trey Harris.
Okay. Seems like that was what the chat thought. Garrison put in the chat before you posted it.
And just Harris. Just so you guys know, I'm not looking a lot at the chat because I'm bouncing around behind this.
Shane has to draft. Shane has to draft for every team, so it's actually a lot more work than what I have to do. Okay, next up you have the Prismatic Panther. I don't believe you have making any picks for him yet. So let's see what we got here. Yep, you have not made any picks. This is the only pick of the draft. So Shane, this is your time to shine. This is your only pick. You've sat there for the last 22 picks, watched every player you like go off the board. You've tried to desperately trade up for the last hour. You haven't been able to get it. So now you have to make this pick. What are you doing, Mr. I don't hate this team. I mean, James Cook, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jacobs. I mean, good tight ends.
Very good roster. Very good roster. Very good roster. One of those tight ends, I think, is going to retire. I think.
You going to replace that tight end with another tight end?
Yeah, because this is as far as we can let this dude fall. It's Harold Fannin. You can't let him fall any further in a 2.0 tight end premium. Just absolutely can't. Can't do it. Legally, not allowed. I checked the law books. Okay. You might need the wide receiver more, but you can't let him keep falling there.
Well, I am up now with the 212. I really, really want to find a running back to take because there's a bunch of them. Looking at just scrolling through the board, the only other justification would be, is there somebody that has just draft capital ADV that I'd be able to sell? Someone in the chat earlier asked about Jalen Milroe. Like, Jalen Milroe could be fine, but that's only if he gets draft capital. So I'm not even going to bank on that at this point. Like, I'm guessing he's not a first rounder, so I'm just not interested in really drafting him. Probably a couple receivers in here that could get second round capital. Like, I think Isaiah Bond potentially could go early second. Alec Iamaner could go mid, early second. I mean, Jalen Royals, Jalen Knoll, like there's guys that are probably there, but I set this team up to just do exactly what I'm about to do. And it's just hammer the positional value. Like, this team already took a couple receivers, right? I got Luther Burden. I got Emeka Egbuka. I probably don't want to roster more than 6 or 7 receivers on this team, right? Like, I just don't. And I feel like I already have 5. I don't need to draft another one unless I'm just absolutely sure that they're getting draft capital. So RJ Harvey's in the mix. I like Damian Martinez, DJ Giddens. Like, there's a ton of them. So I'm just going to kind of hit process. I prefer Damian Martinez if I had to pick, but I'm kind of curious if you think, who would you say is the highest ADV running back on the board? Like, if they get a good landing spot, people will just immediately think that guy's like incredible. Who do you think it is?
Probably RJ Harvey.
You think Harvey?
I think so. Or
you think so?
Maybe Etienne. I don't know.
You think Woody Marks, Damian Martinez, Etienne?
Brashard Smith. Someone brought him up in the chat, SMU, because he's going to make those splash plays as a receiving back. Oh, man, there's so many good ones. So many good ones. I don't know, dude. Go. You tell me. This is why, look, when we talk about having a lot of seconds and thirds, this is why we are more than okay with making these picks this year.
Yeah, and let's just say this. We're assuming draft the names we're going to give are going to be interchangeable because some of the guys are going to go to bad spots and some are going to go to lower capital, which means you're just going to reshuffle them. So I'm going to go Martinez because I think in the format he fits. If he lands in a spot with opportunity, he fits like, for instance, the mock we did, they had Pittsburgh taking him. If he goes there, like, he might not be Najee Harris, but if he plays that role in this type of format, that's, extremely hard to replace. So 2 rounds, we'll kind of rapid fire these last 2 rounds. We have KV, he hate me at 301. You've already made a couple picks for this team at the 103 and the 203, Shane. What are you doing? 301.
I think someone noted it earlier. Ooh, that was a fun noise. And you said it. This guy's apparently going to be a first-round wide receiver. Hard to pass on a wide receiver with that capital. Now, if that doesn't come to fruition, probably won't be drafting him here, to be quite honest with you.
Are you going with Mr. outproduced Matthew Golden through 5 games and then got injured?
Bond.
Okay. James Bond is the pick. All right, 302, back to your old friend ST Grow, where you've made a bunch of picks for him. You've picked 3 times already for him, 102, 109, and 204. So you have back-to-back picks here at the 202 and the 203. He's already taken Omarion Hampton. He's already taken Colston Loveland, and he's already taken Dylan Sampson. 2 picks.
Beautiful. Brashard Smith. He's shooting ceiling right here. Shooting ceiling, man. Absolutely shooting ceiling. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, there's another wide receiver available on the board that could have day 2 capital. But, yeah, no, we're going to go with Brashard Smith. We got to see him at the Senior Bowl. Dude is lightning in a bottle. I don't know if that's actually a phrase, but I'm going to use it. He's lightning in a bottle.
Keep going. You get another pick at the 203. I mean, here's the running back room, right? This is where you better be confident you can trade receivers if you're drafting another one with this running back room, right? Like this team needs bodies.
Yeah.
You going RJ Harvey here?
Or do I go DJ Giddens?
Pick one.
You go DJ Giddens here.
Pick one. There's a bunch of them. There's
a
bunch of running backs you could take. Yep. You went?
Yep. DJ Giddens. We're going DJ Giddens.
Okay. 304. We got Owen Ritchie is up. I don't know if we've made a pick for him already.
No,
we haven't. This is his only pick. 304. So he waited 27 picks before he got to go. So what are you doing?
This dude has no specific needs.
It is a very, very balanced roster. It's got a bunch of roster cloggers. I mean, we're carrying DJ Turner, and we're carrying Lil Jordan Humphrey. We're carrying 7 tight ends. Not bad ones, but
yeah, I'm just looking. I don't see. There's not a specific need, right? So you're just going. Who do you think the best player available is right now? Man, I think it's RJ Harvey. That's where I'm going to go. I think.
Let it rip. All right, so Scaredy is up at 305 and 306. So I'm probably just looking at more running backs. Although, again, this is where if I had these actual picks, I'd probably be looking at like, what is my league pulse on somebody that wants to draft, the guys that I don't want to draft, right? Like I don't really want to draft Elikiah Manor, but somebody probably does. So what running back could I get that's could I get 3 bodies instead of making a draft pick here at running back? Like that's kind of what I'd be trying to do with this, especially because I just got smushed with Smith, Giddens, and Harvey back to back to back. Like I would have loved to take 2 of those guys instead of being stuck on just drafting. But I'm going to go we'll go Woody Marks with one of the picks.
Okay, I like it.
Just lock it in RBs. I could go Trevor Etienne.
Mm-hmm.
I could go Kyle Monungai.
Mm-hmm.
I could go Bashal Tootin. I could go Jordan James. Like I could just pick my flavor of the week.
Just while you're thinking about that, we if you haven't checked out on this channel, me and Scott got to interview literally every player he just named just about. Like 13 people in this draft we got to speak to. So go check it out, including some of the people that haven't been drafted yet, who I'm just going to draft my boy at one of these picks. But go ahead.
Yeah, and if you want to picture exactly what 2 middle-aged white dudes that never really played football talking to these guys about, I mean, I'm literally asking guys about like running back committees and like, how would you see yourself in a back? Because I think it was Damian Martinez that I asked about running back committees. Like, I'm sure he's sitting there thinking he's going to like command an entire backfield, and I'm already relegating him to, like what committee are you going to be in? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like there's going to be 2 guys, basically without saying it, like there's going to be 2 dudes on the team that are just as good as you.
Absolutely.
Should I draft you or should I draft, that guy? So, all right, screw it. I'm just going to continue to push the receivers because there's like 4 or 5 that I could still take. So give me old Tootin. Throw Tootin in there.
Bashal?
Give me Bashal, Tootin. Yep. Because I'm just drafting for the format. Like my plan going into this with Scaredy's team was just to take running back after running back after running back after running back. So next up, you got OJ. He's got 2 picks. You picked for him a bunch. He's got a couple more. I can't even recall what you actually did because you've already made so many picks for him. You picked.
I'll tell you.
This was This was whoever you took at 110. Was that Shador Sanders?
Yeah, guess what he's doing?
What's he doing? Taking BPA or yeah, look at his receivers. Jalen Milroe.
Dude, look, it is a super flex league. It is 3-0 something.
Milroe, you're not taking the shot on receivers here with his receiver room? You ain't taking two that you think could get capital?
I am taking the quarterback who might get drafted in the second round because of physical traits. And then as soon as he pops, someone pointed this out to me the other night. What happened when Will Levis had one good game? One good game. People were flat out moving that dude for a first.
That's fair.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's fair. Okay, so Jalen Milroe, you get the next pick, and then ST Grow gets a pick, and then OJ gets two more. So you have a ton of picks here with this team. So pick another one for this roster.
Oh boy. I think
and we'll cut Jalen Reagor to make this pick. How much? How about that?
Oh, that's rough. Yeah, you know what? We're gonna lean into the format. It's a guy we liked. Tight end again, Senior Bowl. Jesus, Shane, come on. You can do better than this.
Who would that be?
That would be Mr. Ferguson.
Oh, Terrence Ferguson. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Got to interview him. He was giant. He was a foot taller than me. I'm 5'8" on a good day. He's like 6'7". So he literally wasn't quite built like the tackles, but I mean, definitely a big dude. You can definitely appreciate those huge tight ends when you stand next to him. So ST Grow is up at 309. I can't even remember who we took for this team. That's the downside of not having a real draft board. 102. This was the team you took, Hampton, and who was it? Hampton, and then who was at 109? That's who you took for this roster.
Yeah, at this point of the draft, I don't even know if it matters that much who you drafted prior to this, because these aren't players that you're thinking are probably going to.
This is ADV, Shane. This is format or ADV.
Right. So the ADV is going to be Alec Iomanner. I think. Look, we think he'll have day 2 capital. A lot of people like him. I think there's going to be people in the comments when we see this tomorrow, and I'm on the treadmill responding to people that are angrily that they're going to be like, he went too far. So I'm going to grab Alec.
All right. Your boy OJ back on the clock. You've made more picks than I can count for him, and you get 2 more here. So real quick, just to refresh you on what roster that is this one that has pretty weak receivers that you've neglected thus far.
No, we have not, because we just took Tez Johnson.
Okay. You get another one.
5'8", 156-pound dynamo is what he is. That's what he is. So we are a little weak at wide receiver. Just looking. Oh my.
What about Ray's dude that he thinks could go round 1? Jalen Knoll.
Yeah, I was about to look for him. He's not off the board yet.
He's not. No.
Oh yeah, I liked him a lot. I think I got to look his stats up, but I liked him. I was going to go either him or nope. He's gone.
Jalen Knoll went, or he's not in sleeper because
he's not here. So for the purposes of this,
pick a placeholder.
Oh goodness. Sure, because this guy ain't getting drafted. Jaden Blue.
Yeah, I love Jaden Blue.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what.
I'm not kidding.
All right.
That's an RB Blue on a 53 right there. Right. It's an early declare running back. That's a great pass catcher. Come on.
Okay. We're going to remove Jaden Blue.
I'm probably not going to draft Jaden.
No. You know who we're taking? Who? I don't even know if this is a person. Tanner Canoe.
I think we're pretty good. He's not going to be picked. So You're good.
All right.
I'm up at the 312. I see people clamoring in the chat for Quinn Ewers.
No, they're not.
Right here. Graphic 13. Total disregard for Ewers.
Yes.
Is a total disregard for him correct?
Yes, that's correct. We have totally disregarded Quinn Ewers. Now, again, based on the format, I understand if you draft him here.
Okay. Well, you know what? I've seen this guy mentioned a couple times. I would not want to make this pick for the format for Scaredy, but go Jack Beck because I think somebody else may like him. Lock him in at the 312.
I'll tell you right now, just looking at some of these picks that we've already made, That's probably a better pick than some of these in the third round, just because of the ADV and how great his story is. That if he pops a little, people want him to succeed. So if he succeeds a little bit, it's going to go well for him.
You'd take him over Tanner Canoe, right?
Definitely over Tanner Canoe.
Okay. We're not going to go through the fourth round as specifically team-based. Shane gets every pick except for, I believe, one, which is me at the 401 and me at the 404. So I'm going to make these two picks at the 401 and 404, and then we'll just kind of pick the rest of them together. Man, I want to keep taking running backs. I want to just keep hammering them. So give me I don't think he's in here, but I would probably take Kyle Manungai on here. So just pick a place. Is he in here?
Nope. I just made that up. He's definitely
I'm pretty sure he's not in sleeper. So put a placeholder in for him. Kyle Manungai at 401. You pick.
Kyle Manungai not in here? Huh.
Right? There's just a couple guys that are not in sleeper already. And then there's some randoms that are definitely not getting drafted that are in here. Or there's some guys like Barry and Brown, Jaden Ott. Like those guys aren't even in the draft. They went back to college. So I don't, they must have had a preloaded list, but you're up. You get two.
Oh, well, look, I am going to go with, where's my dude at this point? He's not really the type of running back I want for this type of league.
There's a couple tight ends that are still intriguing, Shane.
Yeah, there's the one.
We've only taken 6, and there's probably 8 or 9 that are worth drafting at a 2 PPR.
So I have to actually set. We are going to go ahead and take the gun show. Gunnar Helm.
Okay.
Who should have came to the Senior Bowl because he hurt his own stock when he did not show up.
Yeah, that's fair. We're just kind of picking players at this point. We're not looking at the team needs, just because I said, Shane, we'll be able to do this on time, and
absolutely
we didn't. So I'm up again. 404. No, you pick Quinn Ewers. That's fine.
Quinn Ewers, yeah, he's a quarterback.
Yeah, you pick Quinn Ewers. Let's see, 404. You know what? Give me another tight end that I think definitely goes in the top 3 rounds. Give me a Rondé Gadsden. Throw him in there.
Jesus, that's on me. That's a mistake by me.
So Helm and Gadsden had to go. There's probably 2 more tight ends that I could justify drafting, but we probably won't take any more. So what else you want to do? What else you want to talk about briefly?
I mean, someone mentioned him earlier. This guy was getting love at the Senior Bowl. So I know he's got some ADV. I don't know how much. We'll go Jalen Royals.
Yeah, Jalen Royals in there. Got to make sure he gets on the board. I think you got to take the Iowa State receivers too. Just lock them in. Nolan Higgins. Neither of them have been picked yet. So
no. We picked Noel. That's Tyler Canoe.
Oh, Canoe. Yeah, okay. Take Higgins then.
We can take Higgins here.
Who else haven't we taken that probably would not get to waivers in a league?
Jordan James. Oh,
yeah.
You disagree?
No, I think there's a bunch of running backs. I mean, Jaden Blue, Rocket Sanders, Khalil Mullings, Jordan James, Jarquez Hunter. There's tons of running backs that some of them will slip through, some of them won't.
Yeah. So 408. I mean, yeah, really. Like, what do we want to go? Will Howard? Donovan Edwards? Geez, Donovan Edwards.
Anybody that didn't see my interview with Donovan Edwards, that's my dude now. I'm rooting for him.
We're going Donovan Edwards. You know why? He's got a good.
That doesn't mean draft him, but
he's got a good story. He was a highly recruited player. He's got a comeback story that people will like.
Fair. I saw someone in the chat mentioned Luke Lachey. That's another one that is in that mix of tight ends. There's like him, and there's another tight end that I would potentially draft still with Brenningstool. But you could go Will Howard. I mean, there's going to be a QB 5. There's going to be a couple QBs that get mid-round capital that if you like their spot, if they go to like a Raiders or a Jets, someone's going to tell themselves how they play. Yes. So I'm fine with taking him.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I know he could not be a full-time starter, right? But he could definitely give you some starts.
Dylan Gabriel, okay.
Dylan Gabriel. Dude's got a great arm, and he will die if he has to start a full season. But as a spot starter, I think we'll be all right there.
I'm kind of jaded because of where I've seen this guy mocked. To me, the mass mock we did with Ray and Cody, he went in the 2nd, but he went to the Eagles, which I don't love for a receiver. But I mean, Xavier Restrepo probably shouldn't still be on the board. Okay. Somebody would have taken him. And then one more pick, Mr. Irrelevant. Let's go to the chat. So let's go. We'll have 30 seconds in the chat. Who have we not taken?
Oh,
in the chat Cody's. That we should take. I see Cody says yarns. That's tugging at Shane's heartstrings there. Who have we not taken that we should take? I saw Josh said Ricky White. That's another one. He went in the I believe third in our mock to the Texans, and people were like, "That's a bigger Tank Dell." Yeah. And I could see the narrative. But who should we take that we haven't taken? Jordan James, we already took. He went at 407. But Rocket Sanders, okay. Trevor Etienne. Yeah, that's probably the one.
Trevor Etienne, it is. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I need to say this. I am captain. There's absolutely no reason for you. Why is Etienne not coming up? Trevor Etienne is not in here?
Maybe he's not.
Are you kidding me?
No, he's not. I'm actually looking. He's not in there.
Okay, Trevor Etienne is not here, but I'm going to go ahead and take this dude named Curtis Rourke.
We love Curtis Rourke.
We do?
Yeah, if there's a Tom Brady in this draft, it's Curtis Rourke. If there's a Tom Brady or Purdy.
Okay, so we'll go ahead. Hey, it's another tight end. No. Here, I did not see this person, Deion Burks. But again, that's for Trevor Etienne. I got to be honest with you, man. I am captain.
Aren't you annoyed that Jalen Knoll and Trevor Etienne are not in here?
Yes, because those are definitely guys that should be in here. Those are definitely guys. These aren't like sleeper dudes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm the guy that's always like, oh, you only need 3 rounds of a rookie draft and but look at this 4th round of the draft. Like,
who went at the 4th? Who was it that actually got picked at the 4th? Was that not Kyle McCord? Was it?
No, I have absolutely.
It was a placeholder, wasn't it?
It was Kyle McCord as a placeholder. I absolutely do not remember who.
It was my own pick. I can't even remember who it was.
I have absolutely no idea who Kyle McCord is.
You know who Kyle McCord is?
No. I don't know who he's a placeholder for. I know Tyler Canoe or T Canoe is for Noel. Yeah, this draft. Look, that's the takeaway. This is a very deep class. If you need running backs, just look what you can do from the 2nd to 3rd rounds. There's just, and by the same token, if the format allows it, wide receiver too. There's going to be some wide receivers that I like in the 2nd round, or at least the NFL likes. There's guys we got that were, Matthew Golden, obviously Travis Hunter probably wouldn't fall in a different format. Isaiah Bond, I don't like, but the NFL does. Trey Harris, who I'm in love with. There's so many good players in the 2nd round, and then the 3rd round you get smash quarterback. Like, you go whichever direction you want. For people that are saying this isn't a good class, they are insane, absolutely insane.
Yeah. Well, this was fun. Shout out to Dynasty Scaredy, his league mates that hopefully got something out of this. I know we kind of just messed around with some of the picks. Obviously, there was no trades. There really wasn't anything actionable to do other than just look at the rosters and make the picks. But it was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Check out the website, ddfantasyfootball.com. You can scan the QR code. You get a 50% off trial for a month. You get access to the War Tool, the Trinity Tool. I'm actually working on revamping the War Tool. So working on making it even more functional so you can, read some of this stuff a little bit better. But yeah, check it out. Shout out to everybody. If you want to be part of the Discord, you get access to it with that 50% subscription. And we're going to do things like this more often, Shane, like roster reviews, draft reviews, where maybe once a month we'll do a show where we're just highlighting somebody's team and breaking down, how we would navigate trades, or, how we would do a roster review, or how we would go through their picks or their roster construction. I mean, there's so many things we can do with individual teams. Not just rookie drafts, not just trades, not just reviews, but like literally a new thing we could do every month. So we'll probably do one more of these before the NFL draft at least.
Oh, yeah, we did have a super chat. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah. Make sure you hit that since we don't have somebody to keep track of that.
Thank you.
From Jerry.
Thank you for pointing that out, Evie Dis. I absolutely forgot, so thank you. Jerry Schetzel, 12-team Superflex. Start 9 PPR, Lamar, Stafford, McCarthy, Kyron, Bijan, Mason, Mostert, Wright, Jamar, Debo, Cup, T, Devonta Smith, Purcell, Jennings, Andrews, Kraft, Sanders won the chip. Thanks to you guys. You're welcome. Moves, or run it back. I have the 205 and the 302 plus 226 thirds.
I mean, look at what carried this team, Shane. Lamar, Bijan, Kyron, Chase,
yeah,
T, Smitty.
1, 2, 3. 3 absolute monsters.
And it's a start 9. So having three top end players allows you to basically look at the other 6 and say, I just need, production. You know what I mean? I just need like baseline production. And if I get a nice run in the playoffs with somebody like T or Kyron Williams, then Ricky Pearsall, if you somehow started him, or Jennings, I mean, they had good games down the stretch. So I can see where this team could run it back just because you have those 3 hammers. I mean, there's a lot of pieces in here that are not movable, right? Like Stafford, Debo, Kupp. Like you can't even move those guys, can you?
Absolutely. Nah, not even a little bit.
Mark Andrews, can you even move him?
Doubtful. I mean, you can move them. It's just not going to be for much.
I mean, what are you doing with the fact that you're not doing anything to disrupt Lamar, Bijan, and Chase? You can run that out for the next 3 years probably and still be in the mix. But what are you doing with the rest of the team? You only have 2 picks and no picks next year except for thirds.
Yeah, Devonta can go. Love him, but he can go. Purcell can go. Like you already said, Kyron.
But for what, though? Pearsall, Devontae Smith. Like, what are you trying to do with those guys?
Devonta, I don't think. Can you get a 26 first if you add to him? Can you do that? If I can do that, that's something that I would like to do.
Okay. Would you trade him? Would you trade Devontae Smith for a running back? One that you can just sheer score more points.
Yeah, because I don't. Now, I'm looking at the wide receiver room, and it's just like it's Jamar, then Devonta, then nothing.
Smitty or Ken Walker or Jonathan Taylor?
JT. I'll take JT if I can get that for Smith.
Ken Walker?
No, he burned me last year.
Okay. Just trying to figure out, like, if you just went for most points, because you could, as much as we don't necessarily like Debo or Kupp for their trade value, if they play, there's a world where I could start them as my wide receiver 3 or my flex and get away with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if I can throw a Ken Walker or a JT into a flex with Kyron and Bijan, then, I'm kind of hoarding that position a little bit, which in a start 9, that's going to be a position that probably matters a little more and is harder to get. So if you could do that, I'd be willing to do it given where the rest of your team is. Someone said, would you try to get a rookie tight end in this class, given that what you have Andrews, Kraft, and Sanders? I mean, I'd love to get one of the best tight ends, but I don't know if drafting Mason Taylor is actually better than Jatavian Sanders and Tucker Kraft. You know what I mean? And in a non-tight end premium, doesn't it feel like I'm just drafting more cloggers if I take tight end 6?
I am okay taking a shot.
Okay, so it's a shot to try to get better than Tucker Kraft and Mark Andrews.
Right. Okay. But I'm not, I don't want to say I'm not expecting it, but just understanding that the probability of that is probably low, but I'm okay with taking that.
So would you go Fannin at the top then? Just aiming for just like the best receiving profile of all of them and don't even care about the other stuff?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Is there a way you could trade up and get one of the top 2 tight ends? Where does Loveland fall in a regular PPR? Can you move up to like the 112 and get him?
Is he going to be enough of a difference maker for you to do that?
If I'm taking a shot, I'd rather take a shot at him than wait till tight end 5.
Yeah, I got you, but I'm just also considering the cost analysis of it, right? It's different if I'm taking a shot at 208 as opposed
Mark
to
Andrews 205 for the 110. Would you do that?
And then I'm taking Loveland.
You're 110, 111, 112, 201. You're taking Loveland, but you have to add Andrews and the 205.
Yeah, can I get a 4th back?
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Look,
and
I got to get
draft. Let's see, who did we take? You can draft whoever your favorite guy in the 4th was.
I just got to get something, man. You know this.
Okay. Yeah, Jerry. I mean, takeaways are you have Lamar, Bijan, Jamar Chase. You could probably patch if those guys stay healthy, you can patchwork together the other 6 starters. And if you just make the playoffs, this isn't a team I would want to face in a 1-game scenario, Shane, because all 3 of those guys could put up, 25 plus, you know what I mean? And make up for the fact that I don't have a great team. So Thank you for the question, Jerry. Appreciate the super chat. Final word, Shane?
No, man, this was fun. It went a little long. That's what happens when you go 4 rounds, but
maybe we'll go 3 next time.
Dude, I think the shortest we've had is 5 minutes over. So whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, just and remember, if you have ideas or things you'd like us to talk about, look at. I can't guarantee you that we will, because they might not do anything for us, but put them out there. You know what I mean? It might spark something, and honestly, again, if you join our Discord, just being in there sparked like 4 show ideas for me last night. So I'll be working on those for Shane Says.
Yep, 100%. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. This is going to be what this show is going forward. It's just Shane and I hanging out, talking Dynasty. We'll do some creative stuff. We'll do some very straightforward stuff where we have a directed topic. But thank you, everybody that engaged in the chat. Again, check out the site, ddfantasyfootball.com. Scan the QR code, and we'll see you in the community. And please like and subscribe for all the other content on the channel. Have a good night, everyone.